Hi, kindergarten. For our read aloud today, we are going to be reading a book all about Cinnamon. And Cinnamon is a book about a tiger who came to a palace who was huge and fierce. The people were afraid, but our Indian princess, she was not. So let's begin. Front cover, back cover, spine. Touch your back, touch your spine, open your mind. Hands in your lap. It's story time. Cinnamon by Neil Gaiman, illustrated by Dia Srinivasan. Perfect. Cinnamon was a princess a long time ago in a small, hot country where everything was old. So here's our princess. Her eyes were pearls, which gave her great beauty, but meant she was blind. That means she can't see. Her world was the color of pearls, pale white, pink, soft, and glowing. Cinnamon did not talk. She couldn't see, she didn't talk. Her father and mother, Raj and Rani, offered a room in the palace, a field of mango trees, a portrait of Rani's aunt on hard wood, and a green parrot to any person who could get Cinnamon to talk. So they were going to give all of these things. The parents were going to give all of these jewels, this place to live, to anyone who could get Cinnamon to talk. They really wanted their daughter to talk. The mountains ring the country on one side, the jungle on the other, and far came the people trying to teach Cinnamon to speak. So here's their palace in India, right? And all these people were saying, I'll get Cinnamon to speak, I'll get Cinnamon to speak. But come they did, and they stayed in the room in the palace, and they ate the food from the mango tree, and they fed the parrot, and they admired the portrait of Rani's aunt, who was quite a beauty in her day. And eventually they went away, frustrated and mad, because they couldn't make the little girl talk. So here's one of the people who was trying to make the little girl talk, and he was mad because he couldn't do it. He didn't get to keep everything. He couldn't make her talk. One day a tiger came to the palace. He was huge and fierce, a nightmare in black and orange. The people were afraid. They were scared. But there's nothing to be frightened of, said Raja. Very few tigers are man-eaters. But I am, said the tiger. The people were much amazed that the tiger could speak, although it did nothing to stop their fear. You might be lying, said Raja. I might be, said the tiger, but I am not. Now I am here to teach the girl to talk. So the tiger wanted a chance to teach the girl to talk as well. The Raja consulted with the Rani, so the father consulted with the mom. They talked to each other, and despite the urgings of Raja's aunt, who was the opinion the tiger should be driven out of the city, she did not want the tiger there. They allowed the tiger, to come in. So here is the aunt saying, no, don't have them. And they all allowed the tiger to come in because they really wanted their daughter to speak. Cinnamon was shown into Tiger's room. There was a young lady from Riga, squeaked the parrot, who went for a ride on a tiger. They came back from the ride with the tiger inside and a smile on the face of a tiger, although in the interest of history, the poem was not right. So here's the little parrot making up a funny / kind of scary story for the mom. Look at how she looks scared right now about the little girl being eaten by the tiger. But we'll see if you think the tiger will eat the princess or not. There, said Ronnie. Even the bird knows. Leave me with the girl, said the tiger. And reluctantly, that means they didn't trust the tiger so much. The Raja and Rani and the Raji's aunt and the palace staff left the tiger with Cinnamon. She pushed her fingers into the fur and felt its hot breath on her face. So she was petting the tiger. She didn't fear the tiger. She couldn't even see the tiger. The tigers put Cinnamon's hand into his. Pain, said the tiger. So he took his claw, right? And he showed her what pain was. And the little girl cried, right? Fear, said the tiger, and he began to roar. So quietly you could scarcely hear it. Cinnamon trembled, right? So at first she bled when she felt that pain, and then she shook when she felt that fear. Love, said the tiger, and with his rough red tongue, he licked the blood from Cinnamon's hand and licked her soft brown face. Love, whispered Cinnamon in a voice wild and dark, and the tiger opened his mouth and grinned like a big tiger's grin. So he licked her and she felt love and she said it. She said love. She spoke. And then he smiled, right? The moon was full that night. So here's the moon. Some of us might have read about the moon, the cycles of the moon. So it's a full moon. It was bright morning when the child and the tiger walked out of the room together. Cymbals crashed and the birds sang, and Cinnamon the tiger walked towards Rani and Raja, who sat at the one end of the throne. The Rani's aunt sat in a corner and said, "Can she talk yet?" "Why don't you ask her?" growled the tiger. "Can you talk?" the Raja asked Cinnamon. The girl nodded. So they were surprised. Look at her face, surprised face, right? Because she could talk. Let's see what she says, though. "Ha!" croaked the Rani's aunt. "She can talk no more than she can lick her backbone," because she nodded. She didn't say yes. "Hush," said the Raja and Rani. "I can talk," said Cinnamon. "I think I always could." "Then why didn't you?" asked the mom. "She's not talking now," muttered the Rani's aunt. "The tiger is throwing his voice." "Can no one get that woman to stop talking?" asked the Raja. "Easier to stop him than start him," said the tiger, and he dealt with the matter. So, right, the aunt was not being nice, and he said, "I'm going to deal with it." Uh-oh, and she ran away because she was not being very kind to the little girl. And Cinnamon said, "Why not? Because I had nothing to say." "And now," said her father, "and now the tiger has told me of the jungle, of the chattering monkeys, of the smell of the dawn, the taste of moonlight, and the noise of the lake fall. And what I have to say is this: I am going with the tiger." "You cannot do this thing," said Raja. "I forbid it." So the tiger invited her to come to the jungle. And her father said, "No, you are not allowed." "It is difficult," said Cinnamon, "to forbid a tiger anything it wants." And the Raja and Rani, after giving the matter a little thought, agreed. "She'll certainly be happier there," they said. "But what about the room in the palace, and the mango grove, and the parrot, and the picture of Rani's late aunt, all of the jewels he would have got?" "Give them to the people," said the tiger. And so an announcement was made to the people of the city that they would be the proud owners of a parrot, a portrait, and a mango grove, and the Princess Cinnamon could speak, but would be leaving them for a while to further her education, right? She wanted to grow her mind. A crowd gathered in the town square, and soon the door of the palace opened, and the tiger and the child came out. The tiger walked slowly through the crowd. So here is Cinnamon and the tiger. So in the end, nobody was eaten, save only the Ranie's elderly aunt, who was gradually replaced by popular mind by the portrait of her, right? So we're just talking about her aunt who said not so nice things about her. And she was lived beautiful and happy forever. There we go. Very sweet kindergarten. So, this is a made-up story, right? But it's an important one because it talks about the relationship that Cinnamon had to love, right? She had to love the world before she was able to speak about it. She couldn't see, she was blind the whole time, but she was still able to speak, so really important thing. What we're going to be doing with it is we are going to be making a text to self connection. So you're going to say something like, my favorite part of the story was, or I connected to the story because. I'm going to give you an example. I connected to the story because sometimes when I don't have anything to say, I get shy. I don't want to say anything. That's my connection to the story. I can't wait to hear what your connection is.